So what we're going to go over today is the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines. Okay, there's been a lot of cases coming out in the news recently about companies that are being nailed with the Federal Trade Commission. So the problems that come up for businesses are huge. It doesn't take much to get in trouble with the Federal Trade Commission, so you want to be very careful with what are the things that you're putting out there for your online marketing, okay? If you work for a large company that's been around for a long time, you probably will remember the truth in marketing campaigns that have happened through the 80s and 70s and 90s and so forth. There are laws that have been put in place for a very long time that talk about what an advertiser can and cannot use or say or do in their marketing. And so it's important to make sure that we are paying attention to those. Because those same rules that used to be around for TV and for radio and other things are still applicable in the social media space and anything for online marketing. So I want to take some time and talk with you guys about the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines and what you can do as a business to make sure that you do not get caught and get in trouble basically with the FTC. So now granted, I'm not an FTC attorney, I'm not a lawyer at all. I own Smart Social, we're a social media marketing company, and we offer advice to businesses to help them with their online marketing. So if you have any other technical questions, it's best to consult an attorney on those kinds of questions as well. But if you have questions about your online marketing, please let us know. We'd love to help you with those as best as we can. So on to the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines. This is huge. This is very, very important. You might not have heard, let me give you an example here. You might not have heard that there was a company, I just can't think of the name of them right now. Anyways, there was a fashion company several months ago that decided they want to do an online marketing campaign to promote one of their new dresses. It was a bit of a sundress. So they went out and did a search on Instagram and found 50 women that had large followings on the social media sites, and they approached these women and talked with them about, hey, we would love you to help promote this new dress we have. We will send you a dress for free, and from there we just want you to take a picture with yourself wearing it and then post it on your social media sites and add this little hashtag to it so that we can track that post. And then you basically get the dress for free completely. So they did. These women agreed to do this marketing campaign. So this company sent them the dresses. 50 dresses went out to these women. All 50 women put the dress on, took a picture with it, posted it with the hashtag, did what they're supposed to do in order to fulfill their end of the agreement. Well, the problem is that they didn't completely make sure that everything was compliant with the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines. So what happened was they were investigated by the Federal Trade Commission, and they were fined, if I remember right, it was $16,000 per incident or per post. So 50 posts on Instagram, $16,000 per post. That's a lot of money. I mean, that's a huge fine that this company had to pay because they violated the Federal Trade Commission's laws. So we want to be very careful as to what you put out there on social media, okay, as far as how you're phrasing things and doing things like that, because we want you to be careful with that. So thanks everybody for joining us today. We're talking about the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines for online marketing and how you can make sure that you don't get caught by them or basically in trouble by doing things. We're not here to try to teach you how to evade the Federal Trade Commission, but how to do your marketing in a way that the Federal Trade Commission doesn't want to do an investigation on you. So let's talk about this a little bit. What the main crux of the guidelines are come down to the understanding the difference between organic posts and paid posts. That's really what it comes down to, okay? A company can put out information about their business and make claims about their business and their products and services and things and so forth, and that's fine. Your Your customers can also post things about your business as well. They're free to do that. Okay, they don't have to be incentivized or anything. If they willingly do it on their own, you didn't talk them into it or incentivize them to do it, they can say what they want. That's okay as well. If you're in the nutritional supplement area, then be careful with the Food and Drug Administration's guidelines as far as what you can and cannot say, of course, and that also extends to what your customers say as well. The thing to realize is when somebody posts on social media, we hope as consumers or followers of theirs that it is organic, it is altruistic, it is something they've posted on their own. Sometimes though, with the rise of influencer marketing, which if you didn't watch our episode last week, make sure you go watch it on tips and tricks of how to do influencer marketing. What you want to do is realize that because of social media, there's a ton of opportunity to get people who have huge followings to help you do your marketing, okay? So what happens is the Federal Trade Commission has said, if you are incentivizing people to promote your business, then you need to indicate that. You need to have some way for people to know, oh, this is a paid post. This is paid content. So it's not completely altruistic in what it's doing. So that's a big thing, okay? So here's a quote from the FTC's guidelines. It says, knowing the source of an advertisement or promotional message typically affects the weight or credibility consumers give it. Such knowledge may also influence whether and to what extent consumers choose to interact with content containing a promotional message. So we as businesses love influencer marketing. We love to get people who have lots of following, who have influence in their markets, to promote our product and services. We love that. It's great. It's a great way to get our word out there faster. Because we know that lots of people do not like marketing. We hate spam. We hate junk mail. We hate telemarketers. We don't want to see crap all over the social media sites as well. But if someone promotes our business, then that's awesome. That feels really good for people. So the challenge is if you incentivize someone to do that, then you've got to have a way of telling people that has been incentivized, okay? So if you're doing influencer marketing or doing contests or encouraging your customers to leave a review for you, and you do some kind of an incentive to help work with that, then you want to have something go out, okay? So let's say here's a couple of scenarios where a business would need to be careful with these guidelines as well. One of them is, let's say you put out a contest on social media, okay, where people can win a prize by taking pictures of themselves at your location, say restaurants, hey, we're going to do a contest, take a picture of the food you're eating, and we're going to give you a free meal. Like once a month, someone's going to get a free meal out of us. You just take a picture of what you're eating at a restaurant, and you post on your social sites, use this hashtag, and it'll be awesome. That is incentivizing and encouraging people to create content and post it for the promotion of your business. So what you need to do is make sure you tell the people that are entering this contest, in order for them to enter, they have to use a hashtag like #sponsored or #ad, AD, in their post, so that it's easy for people to tell that that's it. They're being paid or incentivized in some way or rewarded by putting that out there, okay? So if you want to incorporate that into the main hashtag, you can, or have it as a separate hashtag. It has to be clear. People have to recognize it. In fact, here is one of the FTC's Ad Practices Division people. This is what he had to say to give you some information on this. He said, if consumers don't read the words, then there is no effective disclosure. If you have 7 other hashtags at the end of a tweet and it's mixed up with all these other things, it is easy for consumers to skip over that. The real test is, did consumers read it and comprehend it? So realize that when you're posting it, do not encourage lots of hashtags or to bury that #sponsored hashtag or the fine print on what's going on. You need to make sure that it is apparent to people. So you usually put that hashtag at the beginning of your post so that it's easier for people to see and they recognize that. Okay, because you want to make that distinction clear that this is advertising, this is a sponsored post or some kind of incentivized post. All right, so just make sure that that is there when you do those kinds of contests, okay, where people are generating content for you. So because those are endorsements of your business that are paid. Now, if you just run an encouragement to people, hey, come post pictures of yourself eating at a restaurant, but there's no incentive, then that's okay. You can encourage that, and people can post it at their will. Just realize if there's an incentive, like a contest or drawing, you want to be aware of that. So another common example of this is in the influencer marketing space. Let's say you find a bunch of people who are either your customers or potential customers, and you approach them and say, we want you to promote these pictures or promote a video or create content that will promote a product or service of our company. They have to put in there that it is sponsored. Use the pound sponsored hashtag, pound ad. Those are the easiest ways to do it. Or add some kind of a sentence in there that helps people realize that this is an incentivized piece of content. It's not completely organic. They're being paid to do this. They have to disclose that. So on the other thing to think about is if you are wanting to be an influencer, to get into influencer marketing so that you can be paid by companies to promote products, make sure you're telling people that which products you're promoting just for free, that you're promoting because you like them, or the products that you're promoting because you're paid. That needs to be disclosed with that post so that people understand that. So the other thing to think about is your employees. Your employees have a investment, financial reason to encourage people to come shop at your store, do business with you. And because of that, they have that incentive in there as well. So they need to disclose when they promote your business that they are an employee of your company, because that helps people realize, okay, if they're promoting their employer, then this might not be a completely altruistic post. They're not just saying this company's cool. They're saying it's cool, but they could have been told by their boss to do this, or they could get fired or something. So if your employees want to post or share, then they need to disclose as well that they are employed by your business, so that people are aware of that as well. Okay, that's important. In fact, it's really best to have for your employees an employee inside your employee handbook, a guideline of what to do on social media, what they can do, what they can't do, to help them make sure that there's no other problems that will arise by using social media to promote their employer. So those are always good, and it covers you as a business owner to make sure you have in your employment manual a policy of what to do and not to do on social media. There's a lot of problems that can be started if your employees do not know how to handle things on social media, like dealing with customers. So always have a good policy in place. When you do reviews, this is a common way because reviews are huge. Reviews are very important. If you want to be found by people who use iPhones, then Yelp is a great place to have an account, because people do reviews on Yelp, and iPhone syncs with Yelp to pull those reviews in automatically. So there's a lot of value there. Google uses their review system, and they pull it up on a Google search. So you want to make sure that you have reviews in lots of these different locations. Facebook's review system is becoming more and more important as well. And it's growing at like 4 to 1 from the Google reviews. For every one Google review, you get 4 to leave them on Facebook. It's just faster and easier. Sometimes, so the big problem really that comes down with reviews is it's easy for people who are unhappy to leave a review because they're really motivated. The problem with happy customers is they're not motivated because you've solved their problem. And so there's no super need for them to talk more about it. They can move on with their life and get everything else done. As a business, it's good for you to encourage them to leave those reviews. And there's lots of third-party apps and software you can use to help encouraging those. Just a simple email with a link to your Facebook and Google Plus and other accounts, so they can click on it and go, is a great way to get people to do reviews for you. Sometimes companies will want to put out a contest. This is common with restaurants and other sometimes service-based companies too on Yelp and other similar review sites. that they'll want to run a contest to say, hey, look, if you leave us a review, we are going to put you in a drawing for something else. To encourage more customers to leave good reviews. So the challenge with that is you're incentivizing your people to leave reviews. By incentivizing them, you need to make sure that there's something that goes out in that review that lets the people know, hey, I left this review because the company entered me into a drawing. So one way that you can do to help with that is when you send that email to your customers to encourage them to go leave a review, add a sentence in there and tell them, copy and paste this sentence basically into your review post so that people can see this. If you need to do a carriage return so it's on its own line, would be good so people can see that stand out different. Again, like what the FTC said, if you bury it in the middle of the review and people have a hard time seeing it, then it doesn't help you, basically. You can't hide those things. So have it either at the beginning or at the end, maybe have a carriage return or something so that it stands out and that people can see that if somebody leaves that review, that they can realize, oh, you left this review because you got entered into a drawing. So we can't necessarily completely agree with your review versus somebody who just left the review because they had a good experience. So the organic reviews are always the best. It doesn't hurt to do an incentive to get people to come leave reviews, but you got to realize if you do that, then you have to disclose that. That has to be disclosed in their review that they were incentivized to leave that review. So that's part of that truth in advertising that the Federal Trade Commission is looking for. And I'll tell you, I've heard at least of 3 or 4 companies just this year alone that the Federal Trade Commission has investigated because of challenges. So if you have questions about reviews, about the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines, what you can and cannot do, please let us know. We'd love to answer those for you. But just the big thing is realize that if you're going to do something, if you're going to pay someone or incentivize someone in some way to create content onto a site for you, it needs to be known that that is content that has been incentivized. So make sure you keep an eye out for those things. Be careful in your own business. Use the pound ad or pound sponsored hashtag to just make it a little easier to tell the difference between your paid posts and your organic posts. Now, as a business, you don't have to put that in your advertising posts. Okay, so just if you're incentivizing somebody else to do it, because most people are going to expect you as a business to advertise your business. So that's reasonable to expect. So you don't need to put it in your marketing posts, but if you get somebody else to market in their sphere, in their network for you, it needs to be disclosed that that's not completely altruistic, okay? Celebrities sometimes have troubles with this because companies will send them free products to try out and then encourage the celebrities to take pictures of themselves using it and then post it. Again, if you incentivize them or encourage them by giving them, whether it's the free product, you try this for free, you can have it for free, we just ask you to leave this review, then they have to put that indication in there that that's not completely altruistic. So to give you a comparison, think about Tom's shoes. Okay, Tom's shoes, when they first came out, they went out and actually got a couple of people, celebrities, to wear their shoes. The celebrities didn't necessarily promote the shoes, they just wore them. And then other people took pictures of the celebrities and said, hey, what are these shoes that they're wearing? What's going on with this? And it created a bit of a buzz. As that buzz grew, other celebrities realized what Tom was doing with those shoes, as far as every pair you buy, they send a pair to somebody in another country who doesn't have shoes. So people started buying those and promoting it because they liked the idea behind it. And because they willingly bought the shoes and then promoted on their own, Tom's didn't incentivize them to do it, then that's completely okay. That's organic, altruistic content. You don't have to worry about that. If somebody posts it on their own, it's okay. It's just if you pay them or give them free stuff or somehow incentivize them or they have a financial reason to promote it, then you need to watch for that. So watch for your employees as well. so that they don't get caught by that either. Make sure if they're promoting your business on social that there's something in it that just says, by the way, I'm an employee of this company, so that people know, okay, you work there, of course you're going to talk good about it. You're not going to talk bad about it. So that's very, very important. Be aware the Federal Trade Commission is looking. They are checking and monitoring what's happening on social media and looking for those companies that are struggling to meet those guidelines. So just be straight up with people when you're doing your online marketing, and that'll help you a ton to make sure you don't have to have any of those fines. $16,000 fine per post on Instagram. That's crazy. 50 posts times 16,000. That's a lot of money. So be careful when you're out there. And here's the thing: if you're thinking, oh man, this is terrible, the Federal Trade Commission is making it so hard to do this. This is so horrible that they're undermining marketing on social media. You know, the reality is these laws have actually been around for 20 to 30 years at least, if not longer. So just realize they're just applying them to the new online marketing and digital space. They've been around for a long time. That's the same rules that politicians, very similar rules I should say, that the politicians have to follow to say whenever political ad is ran, they have to say who was the committee or the organization that sponsored it. They also have to say if the candidate, if it's running about a candidate, then they have to have that I endorse this advertisement in there to show, hey, I'm okay with this. This is part of our thing. So they're all the same. It's all the same stuff. TV, radio, all those have had these laws for decades. So now they're just being applied to the online marketing space. So be aware of them. Just realize the government is watching. The Federal Communications Commission is watching as well. They have some similar guidelines on just making sure that you're not telling baloney stuff about your business on social media, not making false claims or so forth. And if you have anything in the food or in the health space, like nutritional supplements, the the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has pages of guidelines that you need to follow as well to make sure that you're not getting in trouble with offering diagnoses. You have to have a doctor in your company in order to, and I think they have to hold a certain position in the company, or in order for you to be able to use them so unless you have somebody who has a medical degree, an MD, you cannot diagnose things. You can't say, oh, if you have this symptom, then it's this problem. And same with curing. You cannot say that your product cures this ailment or it helps out. Our product prevents heart disease or whatever it is. You can't say those kinds of things, because the Food and Drug Administration will come down on you at that. You also have to watch for your customers. If you have a customer that goes onto social media and says, hey, I love this product, I had diabetes and I started taking this product and now I'm off all my diabetes medication and it's wonderful and I don't have to worry about it anymore, realize that the Food and Drug Administration can fine you for that statement because they see it as an extension of label. So you got to be careful about those. If your customers put stuff out that is diagnosing or prescribing and they use your name in that post as the product or service they used, you can still be held liable for that. So just be careful with those. They are watching. They are keeping an eye out for what's happening to keep online marketing legit and keep it in a good, positive space and not have the spammers and other people around. So as long as you play right and play by the rules, you'll be okay. You won't have any problems on social media. So there's your guidelines. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. If you have any other comments on the guidelines from the FTC, the FCC, or the FDA, let us know. Follow the hashtag SMRT TV. Hey, thanks for the heart. Appreciate that. If you look for these things. If you want to find more information, we're going to have more up on our blog soon about these guidelines. And then follow our Smart TV. We do this every Monday at noon. So come back and follow us. We're broadcasting to Periscope and Twitter. We're broadcasting to Facebook, and we're broadcasting to YouTube Live. So come on and join us. Leave us comments and messages. If you have any other questions about social media marketing at all or social media, reach out to us on social. We'd love to answer your questions and help you out with that. So thanks for watching today and joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next week as we get talking. In fact, let me pull this up really quick. Next week, we are going to be talking about email design tips, how to create really good newsletters that people want to open and read. What are some tricks and things you can do to help make sure that your email marketing is going to be very effective? So next week, we're going to talk about email marketing, setting up your newsletters and things to make it better for you. If you have other questions or things, if you have things that you would like us to talk about, questions you have that you'd like us to do a show about, let us know. We'll be more than happy to put a show together and help you out with your own online marketing as well. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you guys later.